The Raptors, the Raptors, the Raptors. We win again, baby. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Wayne Blue. You are listening to the Raptors Reaction Podcast after the Raptors win 140 to 110 to clinch Group A in the NBA Cup action, which you know how the NBA Cup works. If your team is in it, it's a real cup. If your team's out, you don't care about it. But the Raptors, unlike the first 2 years where basically they were like one and done, Raptors are now 3-0 in their group. They got one more game to play against the Indiana Pacers, but the Raptors, by way of tiebreakers and also by the fact that they're plus 53 points, I think, in the 3 games. They beat them by now 53 points after a 30-point drubbing of Washington today. Raptors are going to the quarterfinals, and that means if they win one more game, and I think they'll be at home, based on how strong the differential is, but Raptors, if they win one more game, the quarterfinals will be in Vegas with with prize pool money on the line, with the NBA Cup action on the line. And for a young team, and I've said this consistently, for a young team, I think the NBA Cup is actually really good competition for them because you got to play games that are like high stakes, right? Single elimination. You got to plan to beat a pretty good team that's also off to a hot start to the season, considering this cup is mostly November, December. And for this young Raptors team, it's a great time to sort of put yourself on the big stage. The Raptors are now 11-5. The Raptors are now 10-1 in their last 11 games. The Raptors are now on a 6-game win streak. And once again, you walk into the arena tonight feeling so much confidence. You know, knowing that the Raptors will take care of business, knowing that the Raptors' style of play works, knowing if they even put half an effort. Like, the Raptors probably played like a B-level game tonight and still walked out of there with a 30-point win. Now, granted, Washington, as bad as it gets, I mean, they're 13-game losing streak right now. They had, earlier this week, they had the mid-off between, themselves and the Brooklyn Nets. Both teams 1-11 going into the game. And unfortunately for Washington, they're still stuck on that one win to start the season. My goodness, they are such a bad team. But yeah, like the Raptors, man, like the Raptors, this is a good team. And I think we're really getting comfortable with the fact that the Raptors can just, be this type of team that comes out there and, gives a professional effort. The fact that we can even talk about that, I mean, the last couple of years, you just got to think how far we came, man. Like, last couple of years, we've been struggling to get any wins, right? Like, like, I think last year the Raptors were like 11-39. And that's when they finally got their 11th win. Like, to get it now in the middle of November is just really, really beautiful to see. And again, like, this game felt so easy. Like, literally the start of this game, the Raptors got up to 11-2 and Washington had to call the first timeout. Jakob Poeltl easily rolled to the basket from Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram baseline fadeaway, just super nice move. Emmanuel quickly hitting a 3 from the top, catch and shoot. IQ cutting in for a layup, like so easy, really, for this team. And again, obviously, I know they're not always going to be the Wizards, but Raptors playing basically everyone like this. And you have another game where for Toronto tonight, I mean, first off, 140 points is the most points they scored this season. Inclusive in that is that the Raptors had their highest scoring quarter of the season with 48 points in the third quarter. The Raptors now this season have 3 40-point quarters. They have a 44-point quarter, 45-point quarter, and now a 48-point quarter. The funny thing is, all 3 of those have been in the third quarter. The first one was on opening night, Raptors taking down Atlanta in Atlanta. They had a 45-point third quarter in that one. Then, last game against the Sixers, Raptors had a 44-point game in the third quarter to turn that game from being down 3 at half to being up 20 after the end of, I think it's up 17, actually, at the end of 3. And then this game, I mean, it wasn't close, but it was still only 10 points. Like, you never know. 10 points, lackadaisical game. You could easily sort of, like, start fumbling. And the Raptors hanging 48 points on Washington established a lead that they could not come back from. And the fourth quarter was, basically just get Garrett Temple in the game, get Jamison Battle in the game. Ochai Agbaji, you haven't even been named for most of the season. Get in there and find your confidence a little bit. Mamu, go out there and collect some points. Like, the numbers are staggering. The Raptors shot 73% in the second half. Like, 73%. Like, and I know, like, it's so funny to watch Raptors basketball based on like the last couple of seasons, and then watch this year, you're getting whiplash. Like I'm getting whiplash watching this team. Like I know the Raptors improved in the second half of last season, but it was unclear whether that was going to translate to this group. And my goodness, like no matter how optimistic you were about this team, you still have to be here sitting in this chair with a shit-eating grin, looking at the Raptors going on a 10-1 run, man. Like this is literally the Raptors' best run since that we started counting wins on Serge Ibaka's comically outside scarf when he was battling for scarf battles between him and OG Anunoby. And the Raptors had their franchise leading 15-game win streak on that stretch, and we just kept writing team after team after team after team on Serge's like body length scarf. Like 10-1. Like it doesn't even matter who they played. Obviously tonight in Washington, I can't slander them enough. They're so bad, but like yeah, like this is just who the Raptors are now. And the Raptors tonight, do what they always do, move the ball, 36 assists tonight, en route to 57% shooting. They were shooting the three really well tonight too, 14 of 29 from three, got to the foul line 39 times, cashed them in. Brandon Ingram leading the charge, 12 of 13 from the foul line. That might actually be the only slight concern from this game, is that Brandon Ingram in the fourth quarter, and honestly, like Darko, you should have taken him out before this, but whatever. Like early in the fourth quarter, Brandon Ingram goes up for a pull-up mid-range, and I believe Bub Carrington slid his foot underneath of Brandon, and Brandon came down. And Brandon had a history of ankle problems. Obviously, last year he hurt the left ankle. That's what limited him to 18 games. This time was the right ankle. So hopefully everything's okay. He didn't go to the locker room or anything. But you did see him slamming the floor in frustration, obviously understanding that he's had this history with ankle problems, and he's had to work so hard to overcome the last one that you just don't want to see the same thing happen, which, by the way, happens to Brandon a lot. Like, he obviously shoots mid-range jumpers over guys, but guys try to contest, get close, and then they do the unwilling, like they just slide underneath. Like, that's how he got injured from Lou Dort. Like, Lou Dort, like, literally slid his foot underneath him, and he then had to, like, miss months, like, literally 4 or 5 months because of the fact that, you know, he had an ankle problem after that. And so hopefully he's okay. It looked like he was okay. Like, he was just sitting on the bench. Like, you never know. We'll have to see, obviously, if there's any injury updates to come. Again, fingers crossed, hopefully there's nothing. But yeah, man, I mean, Ingram leading the charge, 12 of 13 from the free throw line. Obviously, part of that was the flagrant that was called, rightfully so, on Bub. Scottie Barnes had a really quiet first half to the point where I'm like, is he even in the game? And then the second half, in the third quarter, felt like he scored like 15 in the third, it feels like. He finishes 23 points. RJ consistently dominating. I mean, RJ is just like, this is a game where I'm going to score. Like, last couple of games, maybe more inconsistent. Threes or maybe a hit or miss for RJ, although, again, 2 of 5 from RJ, I'll never complain. But RJ is like, I'll go in the post, man. Screw it. Like, I got CJ McCollum on me. That's the NBPA president. You know, he just signed this whack-ass CBA. Let me go in there in the post and get a couple buckets against him. You know, IQ, very efficient. You know, narrowly misses being the 5th Raptor tonight to go over 20. He has 17 points, but largely just shooting threes, getting in the paint at will. You know, just watching all these breakdowns happen on Washington side. Also did a really good job playmaking. 7 assists tonight, 0 turnovers. I feel like IQ never gets any credit for his playmaking, but since coming to Toronto, he's consistently been a high assist, low turnover guy. You know, Sandro, Sandro in this game, honestly, Sandro could have had a 30 ball in this game. Sandro just kept missing, like, layups at the rim. Sandro at one point was frustrated, and, you know, like, literally, he, like, left, like, 3 layups short at the rim, but he just kept playing through it. And again, it's the Wizards, and he's very open all the time. And Washington, by the way, basically with the second half without a center. I mean, they already didn't have Alex Sarr, and then they also didn't play, like, Tristan Vukovic, who's kind of like the backup center, but he's kind of like a small ball Mamu type. Although, wait, hold on, Mamu's way better than Tristan Vukovic. But so they weren't playing him much either. So, like, at one point, like, they had, like, Chris Middleton full-time guarding, like, Jakob Poeltl. Like, I don't know what that was about. And I mean, no wonder the Raptors shot 73% in the second half from the field. They don't even have a center out there. They're playing Chris Middleton with a bad set of hips and knees and legs and foot and whatever. They're playing him at center. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are we even doing? This is not even a professional basketball outfit at that point. But Mamu just kept going. He finishes with 23 points, a number of highlights. I was begging Matt Devlin, by the way, before the game, like, yo, Matt, please, man, please use the Mamu, there goes that man, Mark Jackson style. But I don't know if he said in the first half, let me know. But obviously I was at the arena for the first half. Second half, when I watched it on TV and I saw Mamu drop bucket after bucket, including a 9-point stretch there in in the fourth quarter. I was really hoping to be like, Matt, please, just one of these. Like, you used Mamu, said knock you out so many times. Please give me a Mamu. There goes that man. But now Mamu finishes with 23 points. Jamal, like, just perfect basketball off the bench. Mamu and Jamal, connecting so many times. Jamal, honestly, Mamu probably owes Jamal a couple more assists, but Jamal tonight, 10 assists, no turnovers in 16 minutes off the bench. Like, that's absurd. Again, 10 assists in 16 minutes off the bench with 0 turnovers. Like, Jamal literally pitched a perfect game. Jamal obviously, didn't shoot the ball much, was mostly looking to distribute as always, but he knocked down his 2 threes as usual. Once the foul line, missed one, so I technically has 1 miss on the night. But bro, 10 assists in 16 minutes, like, and I already dropped the stat, but like, Jamal is second in the NBA in assists per 36 minutes, or basically assists per minute. You can scale how many minutes you want, but again, like, this is nuts. Like, he's right behind Jokic for how many assists he's logging. And yes, I understand this offense really, encourages ball movement, and whichever point guards have played here in Toronto under Darko's system, they've usually all posted pretty high assist numbers. Like, Dennis Schroeder at one point was averaging like 9 assists per game to start the season. Obviously IQ's bumped his assists up from where it was in New York, where they mostly played ISO and had him score. But Jamal's special, man. Jamal, like, I was just watching this game, and he's just so, like, he just understands, like, not only how to manage a basketball game on the court, but even knows how to manage guys off the court, because Jamal was, like, mic'd up tonight. And obviously, like, when you get mic'd up, like, guys end up being, like, usually more, performative, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to call it that. Except I don't think that's the case with Jamal in this instance, because this is just how Jamal is. Like, if you ever spend any time around Jamal Shed, which would be a great pleasure if you ever did, but like, Jamal is just like this guy all the time. Like, he doesn't turn it off. Like, like, he's such a mature young veteran. Like, there was a moment where they went to the mic'd up segment on the Sportsnet broadcast, and Jamal just kept telling Mamu, like, hey man, pick your head up. There's an entire second half. And then he's just like, yo, keep shooting, man. You're making the right decisions. And this is on a night where Mamu obviously was like smoking layups left, right, and center. He literally left 3 layups at the rim. I'm sure Mamu's probably upset about that. But Mamu's 26. Like, Mamu's the same age as RJ. Mamu's been in the league longer than Jamal. And it's Jamal being like a vet to him. Like, this guy's in his second year. Who does he think he is? Except he's actually that guy. Like, shouts to Jamal, man. And the way he set guys up, he always knows how to feed Brandon Ingram, but him feeding Grady Dick as well. Like, it's just such a fun game watching the way Jamal sees the floor. It's like he's just always uplifting his teammates. Like, it's beautiful basketball. And of course, the 3-point shot is much improved for him. I remember that was a big concern coming out of college. That was like, if we think back to last year at this time, Jamal was struggling with 2 things. Number 1, turnovers. Actually 3 things. Number 1, turnovers. Number 2, fouls. He was fouling a lot, just being aggressive on the ball. And then number 3, he was struggling with knocking down the 3. And, obviously, as with every Raptor that comes in, they usually make a couple of tweaks and adjustments or whatever. But more than anything else, if you're going to improve the 3, it's a labor of work, man. You got to put in a lot of shots, right? There really is. You need perfect practice. You need guys to sort of put you on the right path, and maybe, shot doctors and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, coaching, basically. But more than anything else, the student has to want to work, man. And I'm watching Jamal pregame warm up and shoot the 3. Like, that guy's like money now. And of course, I think he's shooting over 40% from the season. And he doesn't shoot them at a high volume. He's not a guy who's gonna like be aggressive with them too much. Obviously he's looking to pass first, but that's exactly what you want on this team, man. You know how many scores are on this team? Like tonight, for example, like RJ was posting up, scoring when at will. Scottie was scoring. Brandon was scoring. Mamu was scoring. I don't need Jamal to go out there and chuck shots. I need him to go set up my guys and get the confidence into this team on a night where, I mean, yes, you knew the win was coming. So really it was just go get your confidence, go get your stats, and go get in a good rhythm. And the Raptors did all that tonight. Like, mission accomplished basically across the board on all ends. Jacoby Walter ends up playing 22 minutes. Part of that is because of garbage time, but he was also the first sub off the bench. And for Darko, I really like that. He was like, okay, I'm going to keep developing. I'm going to keep challenging you. So last game, you had a good game against the Sixers. Good. This game, you're coming in. You're going to guard their best player. Now, it's just CJ McCollum, but that's still a very veteran player. A 20-point per game score. It was good even in college for Lehigh. Like, this guy's a bucket, right? And yes, it's just the Wizards, but you can only play who's in front of you. Go out there and guard their best player. right? And Jacoby's pressure on the ball, forcing turnovers, getting the Raptors out in the fast break in that third quarter, contributing to that 48-point quarter. Like, I thought he played great in his role, didn't force the shots, knocked down a wing three as well, but only took 2 shots. But I loved his activity. You know what I mean? Like 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. He played well. Grady, he didn't really get the threes to drop too much, probably because the first three he took was like a spinning 360 turnaround jumper. I was like, what's happening, Grady? Why are you doing this? But as he settled in, he was just attacking closeouts and spacing the floor, and he was getting steals as well. I think over the course of the season, I want to see more from both Jacoby and Grady in terms of their own production. But right now, I think they're establishing a good baseline. Like, no matter what, if the threes are dropping, this goes for both of them. Whether the threes drop or not, take the right shots. Don't turn down open shots. Attack the closeouts when they're there. Both of these guys have different approaches. Grady's more athletic and bigger and just taller in general. And so he likes to sort of extend to the rim and, sort of like reach and float and finger roll his way to the rim. Jacoby likes to pump fake and draw fouls, which he, is just actually just genuinely pretty good at. But more than anything else, the non-negotiable is how they defend the ball, how they pressure, and how they attack. And obviously, both are going to come off the bench and maybe play 15 to 20 minutes. Exhaust yourself. Play 40 minutes worth of energy in those 20 minutes and find a way to do that. And again, really weak opponent tonight, but they'd managed to do that. Even for Ochai Agbaji, I think he's kind of the forgotten man. Him and Jonathan Mobo. Both very forgotten so far on the season. Like Mobo, I thought he would be called up for this game, considering that the 905, I think, have like an 8-day break or something. But they had just been in Greensboro to play 2 games. By the way, the 905 are actually 6-0. So good for AJ Lawson, Chucky Hepburn, Elijah Martin. Those guys have been playing great. But I thought Mobo, who was assigned to them, would come back for this game, especially with CMB out. But he's not even back. Like, he wasn't even in the building tonight. I didn't see him. So, this was a chance for Ochai to get some minutes. And obviously Ochai's been out the rotation. I would argue even Battle's ahead of him right now. But even Ochai coming in, actually Ochai was the one guy I was a little concerned about because it looked like he had no confidence at all. He was just trying to pass the ball at every given opportunity. To be honest, like, I understand because he hasn't been playing much. His threes aren't even dropping that well in practice. Like last year, I thought he got into a really good rhythm, getting into a really good set shot in the corner. He got really good placement underneath the ball. It was like a consistent shot every time. And even though it was like very much he needs to load the shot and be sort of set up for it. Last year, obviously, he had an efficient year shooting 40% from 3 on like easier threes, like catch and shoot corner threes, which are the easiest ones you could get. But he still shot 40% and was like willing to shoot them. Right now, it feels like he's not even willing. Like there was plays where in the fourth quarter when he got in the game, and you would think, okay, now it's my chance to finally play. Maybe I'll try to do something. He was just like instantly, as quickly as possible, passing off to Brandon Ingram. When Ingram wasn't even open, you know what I mean? So, like, obviously in the long run, you wanted to see him get some confidence in and be a productive player. But that can be really hard when you're not in the rotation. You know what I mean? So, but Garrett Temple, Jamison Battle, these guys are used to coming off the bench and occasionally playing. I thought both of those guys did well in their minutes. It's not totally fair to Battle that he gets to play the same minutes as Garrett Temple, only in a 30-point blowout. But again, credit to both of those guys for staying professional. Garrett knocked down a wing 3. Jamison Battle, got in there for a layup as well. Like, those 2 guys came in, were ready. Like, basically everyone played well. And honestly, the one guy I haven't mentioned is Jakob. Jakob only took 1 shot tonight. He made it, split a pair of free throws. Got 9 rebounds, got a nice block. A lot of that was in the third quarter where he was just consistently setting guys up. But the best part of today was obviously Jakob's been dealing, on and off with back issues. I don't think he had back issues today. But they didn't even have to extend him. They were like, okay, you know what, Jak, we don't want to burn you out. 19 minutes, just you're done. You're good. You know what I mean? And this is the thing with Jak. It's like Jak's been on this stretch where every game he's got like 8 of 10 shooting, 7 of 10 shooting. He's had 20 balls. He's had, like 20 and 10s. Like, he's been playing great. But you don't hear a peep from Jakob in a game today where he only takes 1 shot. He doesn't care. All he cares about winning, man. All he cares about is winning. And yeah, like the Raptors, I mean, tonight, again, they would have won kind of doing whatever they wanted. But man, like they stayed professional. They stayed right there. Obviously, the first half, they did enough to have a 10-point lead. Brandon Ingram was hot for a stretch there. And then RJ sort of led them for a bit. And IQ was sort of chipping it around. Third quarter, Scottie takes over, knocks down the threes. By the way, shouts to Scottie, man. 3 of 4 from 3. Knocked down a mid-range, super confident, too. I'm loving when teams zone. Scottie's like, okay, I'll just get to the elbow. You're gonna pass him the ball at the elbow. That's where the gap in the defense is, and I'm gonna shoot that thing every time. Like he's so confident in that elbow jumper right now, and it's no hesitation, especially against the zone, because it's just like an invitation. Like they're not even pressed up on him in the middle. So when he catches it and he's shooting that thing, like he's knocking that thing down. But the 3-point shot has been great for him. Knocked out one in the first half, two in the third quarter. Again, just like really catch and shoot threes, like feet set, like totally different. None of the bad diet of threes that sometimes he would take last season. He's cut out a lot of that and mostly just stuck with like the good shots within that. And of course, I think he's put in work too to improve just like the consistency of the form, and to have a reliable result, because he's swishing these things. It's like these are really, really nice to watch. But of course, Scottie also playing post-up basketball, which I always enjoy. The last couple of games, Scottie's been, I don't know, maybe it's just of the opponents or maybe the speed of the game. He's been kind of like rushing to the rim. Like he's kind of just like, just kind of tossing it up there without necessarily making a move first to sort of try to, get the angle or create like the separation, or maybe even get a guy up in the air and then come down on him for the and one, for example. But a lot of that has been like uncalled contact at the rim, which to be fair to him, it's been pretty unfortunate that, he got no free throws. This is actually the third straight game he's got 0 free throws. Yo, Doc, how is this possible, man? All Scottie Barnes does is drive to the basket, and this guy got 3 free throws in 3 straight games with 0 free throws. Like that's kind of outrageous, to be honest. But wait, hold on. I gotta take a quick phone call. I'm getting a delivery. One sec. I apologize for that. Okay, literally the PS5 game, so I gotta make sure that that's delivered and that's picked up. But how has Scottie got 0 free throws through 3 games, man? This is ridiculous. How many times has he driven to the basket? What I like today though is like, okay, regardless of whether he got the call or not, he wasn't just like trying to take the bump, play through it, and then maybe throw something up there. Like not really a move, you know what I mean? Kind of just like putting something on the rim. But he, like today, the 2 post-ups I like today, from because like again, like Washington had no center in there and literally no shot blocking. Like you're telling me Keyshawn George, who's 6'8", or like Chris Middleton, who's like 6'7", like those guys aren't, I mean, they're just not shot blockers. They don't have any bigs in there. So sometimes Scottie would have like Corey Kispert on him, who's like a 6'4" shooting guard. And Scottie would just be like, okay, I'll take a couple dribbles, get to the middle of the floor, set myself, turn around for the jump hook. And really steady, you know what I mean? Like not necessarily like trying to rush in and play through the bump, just like getting steady and just like knocking down that little floater. It was just kind of easy for him. And I think basically like once Scottie started attacking the basket in the third quarter, I mean RJ's always attacking the basket. He had a nice reverse finish in there, but there was a stretch there where I was like, oh yeah, the Raptors should just go in there every single time and score. And of course, that's not even discounting the fact that Quickly can shoot the 3 like that. 3 of 6 from Quick today, just very efficient shooting from him, especially from the outside. He's been on a tear. Brandon Ingram, just like getting any bucket he wants, like shoulder shimmy, fadeaways in the mid range at the elbow, beautiful stuff. Actually, a funny moment before the game, I asked Darko before the game, the question was, is Brandon Ingram the best mid range shooter you've coached? And I think Darko kind of interpreted as, is Brandon Ingram the best mid-range shooter in the world? Because he answered like, well, there's Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and I coached Kevin Durant. So, but like obviously Brandon's very good. And I was just like, wait, hold on. Like that's not the question, Darko. I didn't mean is he the greatest mid-range shooter of all time. But I gotta say, percentage-wise, he's right there for best in the league right now. And yeah, it's been fun to watch, man. I think something like a guaranteed bucket in the half court. I know, like, you don't want it to have the offense stall out and stopped or whatever like that, but it is still pretty important for a guy to be able to get a bucket whenever he wants to. And, like, I mean, tonight it was almost like a DeMar game. There was actually one play that really cracked me up in the first quarter where, like, Brandon got off to a hot start. Like, I thought the Raptors really established Brandon in the first quarter. But there was one play where he got it in the post, one-on-one against Bilal Coulibaly, backed him down a couple of dribbles, then turned around and went for the up fake, and Bilal was standing right there. He went for another up fake. Bilal was standing right there. Another up fake. He's standing right there. And on the 4th up fake and step through, Bilal finally jumps and lands on him. and he gets the free throws. I was like, yo, I haven't seen that since DeMar DeRozan was here, bro. This guy was like, like this, and the defender legit jumped on him. Like, that was so funny to watch. But again, like, yeah, it's a guaranteed bucket if you throw it to Brandon right now. And there's just so much good ball movement happening around him that, like, he obviously can play within that as well. He can get to the foul line and the fast break. He also set guys up, too. Also, shouts to Brandon. Like, I thought he set the tone a lot earlier in this game, too, with, like, a block at the rim against Cam Whitmore. Then he dove on the floor for a steal. Then he, like, drove hard a baseline, and the whole crowd went, like, because the last home game they've seen was the Charlotte game where he went, and dunked it all over Ryan Kalkbrenner. So when he went baseline and elevated and he cocked it back, people were like, oh my God, is he going to do it again? But then he actually just went over for the finger roll over top of CJ McCollum. Maybe he's just like being nice to his former teammate with the Pelicans, because he totally could have posterized him as well. But again, like, we're talking about, like, yo, if the Raptors really wanted to, and played this game out in earnest, they could have beat this team by 50. Like, that's how good the Raptors are right now, and also how bad the Wizards are right now. So Raptors win the NBA group for themselves. They just have one more game. They got to take care of business against Indiana. I mean, whatever. Just take care of business, because that's also a game that counts towards the standings, right? It's just kind of, these games are kind of counted double a little bit. But it's really good for the Raptors. I'm really curious to see how they will do in this tournament itself. And I think for a young team, like, again, like I keep saying this, but for a young team looking to prove themselves on the way up, this is a great stepping stone. So we're going to take a quick break. We want to get to your questions after that. And let's have a nice Friday night. You know what I mean? Raptors, baby. Raptors.
This segment is presented by Table Fare and Social. Get your pregame bites and after-work drinks at Table. It's at a great location right across the street from Scotiabank Arena and just steps away from Union Station and the Metrolinx bus terminal. Will, what are we having at Table Fare and Social?
Well, they got one of our favorites in the city, Alouette.
Ooh.
And of course, Alouette. Incredible food.
The wedge salad?
The wedge salad, exactly. Imagine you're about to watch a Raptors game, you're about to watch a Leafs game, you're about to catch a concert at Scotiabank, and beforehand, we get together, get a couple of drinks at Alouette, get that salad. We're ready for anything, man.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of options at Table Fare and Social. This is your go-to spot. Next time you're off to a game, check out Table Fare and Social, a downtown food hall right across from the arena, for some great pregame bites and drinks.
Alrighty. Appreciate you guys for sending in questions. Yes, the PlayStation did come in, so I'm pretty excited. Looking forward to getting 2K and getting back into 2K. What do people do now? They just play 2K with their friends at the park or something? Like, do they run fives or something? So I'm real curious. And I'm looking forward to finally getting the system. You know me, like, I'm pretty frugal, right? So I'm waiting for the Black Friday deals. But there's some pretty good Black Friday deals, man. I think the PS5, like the slim, the 1 terabyte one, is like, I think it's like $650, like non-sale price. And so I got the bundle with that and the Ghost of Yote game, which is I think $90 for $590. Like, that's pretty good. So I think it's like $130 off. So anyway, yes, I also do the ad reads with PlayStation on the podcast side, so I know people are already familiar with the game. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to check in. So, but I apologize that I had to take a phone call midway through. As you can understand, you don't really want a $600 purchase just sitting on the front porch for too long. So, okay, let's actually, before we even get to questions, a couple updates. So, number one, Sandro Mamukelashvili gets the Raptors chain. Look how happy he is. Like, oh shit, here we go. Like, yeah, I mean, it's funny because the last couple of years I'm like, okay, the chain, like, how far is it going? I mean, maybe this, would make me that happy, but I don't know. I've never seen one video where the guy's not appreciative of the chain. You know what I mean? I'm happy for Mamu. I think this is the first time he's got it this season. I know the Raptors actually got that chain, like, literally blinged out as well. Like, it's a real chain. You know what I mean? Like, they got to travel with security with that type of chain when it's like that. And Mamu's such a good vibes guy, man. Like, here's the thing, like, the cutest thing I find about Mamu, and I suppose it's not just cute, I think it's just the reality of the situation, but Mamu was never a consistent rotation guy until this season. Like, I know we watch Mamu now and we're like, oh, we know Mamu, he's gonna come in, he's gonna play like a vet. Like, this is the best I felt about a backup big since like Serge Ibaka, or even before that maybe Patrick Patterson. I wouldn't say he's as good as Serge, but he's kind of like basically Patrick Patterson level. And I really liked Patrick Patterson in the regular season. And just in the playoffs, he would give you, 8 points, 5 rebounds, no matter what. But it's been a while since we had this type of player. And I know the last couple of years, like Sandro, he played 61 games last year, but he only played 11 minutes per game. The year before that, he played 46 games, had a lot of DMPs, played 10 minutes per game. Year before that, played 43 minutes per game, split between 2 teams on a 2-way contract. Played 43 minutes at 15 minutes per game. Like, this is the first time he's getting consistent run. Like, every game, as long as one was healthy, he's going to get 20 minutes, right? Maybe 25, depending on sort of whatever the matchup is. Today, obviously, he played a lot, but like this season, he's up to 18 minutes per game. He's in every single game, and he's going to be that until he, as long as he's available. And he's been gelling in with everybody. He fits in. He's been playing hard. He's been scrapping. He's been, obviously he's got an offensive skill set. I mean, calling him Patrick Patterson is already pretty rude. You don't see a lot of 23-point games from Patrick Patterson, no matter how many layups he misses. He's good, man. Like he's just been good, and he's fit into all the lineups. He's fit in with the transition lineups with, like, the bench without Sandro. Like I don't even know. Like, Jamal's obviously huge, but Sandro's the other piece that really carries up the bench. And more than anything else, he's also just like a delight to be around. You know what I mean? Like, already put in a bit of a request. Next week, the Hello team will be quite busy, but the following week we hope to catch up with Sandro and get a chance to interview him one-on-one. And of course, you already know that the Sopranos questions will be asked at that time as well. But Sandro's just like a really positive dude. I'm happy for Sandro. I'm happy he got the chain. Speaking of positive dudes off the bench, I thought this moment was super adorable before the game. I'll just show you right here.
For the sing, bro. Canada, thank you. We stand on guard for the.
Of course, that is Jamal Shed and Jacoby Walter, the two besties in the anthem line there. And the Raptors have been doing this thing this season where they used to do it, obviously, for the 2019 championship run, which honestly chills, absolute chills, being a game 1 of 2019 in the NBA Finals when Doug Tranquata sang the first 2 verses of "O Canada" and then just turned the mic over to the rest of the crowd, and the pride in that moment, the energy in that moment, the whole building, like, singing "O Canada" as loud as possible. Like, I had chills, man. I had chills. Steve Kerr had chills. I mean, Steve Kerr brought it up even last year when he came back to Canada. And Steve's been all over the world. Like, Steve played with the freaking Jordan Bulls, you know what I mean? And he's now coaching the Warriors. Like, just absolute chills. And so, like, yes, they've been doing that a lot this year where the anthem singer will sing the U.S. anthem in total, and then they'll sing, like, the first 2 lines, and then they'll have us sing the rest of it. But Jamal's always been a guy who sang the anthem regardless of whether it's a sing-along or if it's, like, the anthem singer is performing. He's always loved to just sing the anthem. And then just here today, just encouraging Jacoby to get into it as well. This is just his energy, man. This team is so lovable. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's this. You have Garrett Temple doing the conga line before the game. Garrett Temple getting warmed up to get into the game. Like, it's Shed might be. This is a good comment. Shed might be the most respectful person to ever play for the team. Honestly, like, he's in terms of the purity level, like, it's like him and Yuta Watanabe. Like, as the most pure Raptors I've ever remembered. Like, you can't say one slightly even negative thing about him, man. Super, super adorable. He's been great. He's been great. So, I mean, look, we've been rooting for Shed for a while, man. I mean, like, I think last year, as soon as we saw him in Summer League, I literally remember the Hello and Welcome podcast started. One of the first videos we did, we were like, okay, we're gonna make a nickname for the fan group. I think we called it the Shed Heads. Not really sure that he loves that nickname, so maybe we'll got to find a better nickname. But caught a Shed Heads right away. Just how hard he played, even just after he got drafted. And again, like, the lore is crazy. The fact that the Raptors got him as a bonus 2nd-round pick because of the Jalen McDaniels salary dump. Like, what? To get Sasha Vezenkov, who took $0 on a buyout, so it didn't even cost the Raptors. Literally didn't cost the Raptors. The Spurs were doing it just so they can get off of Vezenkov's contract, which they could have just bought him out or have him get bought out for $0. So basically, like, they took on Jalen McDaniels for free to then sign DeMar DeRozan, which I don't know. You can't even really explain what the Kings are doing. Like, what the hell are they even doing? But whatever. They not like us, like the Vivek shirt says. No self-awareness whatsoever. And then we got the 45th pick in that trade, and you're like, okay, 45th pick, like whatever. Nah, not whatever, man. Raptors with the second round pick can sometimes do this, and we've seen it with Norm Powell at the 42nd pick. Now we've seen it here with the 45th pick with Jamal. Last year, right away, you could tell that Jamal. I remember his first preseason game. His first preseason game was in Montreal. It was against these very Wizards. And it was him versus against Bub Carrington, who was picked in the first round. I think went like 17th or 18th in that range. But you know what I mean? Like first rounder versus second rounder in the same draft class. And I remember just watching, and Jamal got like 2 steals and forced 2 offensive fouls in the first like shift that he got into the game. I remember I was so impressed with Jamal by the end of the preseason last year that I made a supercut compilation. I think he had forced like something ridiculous, like maybe 30 turnovers and like 80 minutes played or something, like just absurd numbers. And yes, he's always had the pesky defense, which he's continued, but the maturity playmaking wise, and then I didn't know how good of a leader he was. Sometimes you hear these stories, like I know there was that story where at University of Houston, where he's absolutely beloved by both Coach Sampson and the rest of that program. He's such a winner over there too. They made obviously lots of deep NCAA tournament runs with Houston, who were one of the best teams in the country at that time. Like they're so good that like you have players on the team right now, like in Chucky Hepburn, who when he was coming up last year, they had Chucky study the tape of Jamal Shed to learn how to play defense at that kind of high level. And that was before he was even drafted to Toronto. Like it just so happened that Jamal was like literally the standard for how to play defense for Chucky, and then they become teammates. Like, what are the odds of that? But that's just kind of who he is. And there's that great story where after one of the games that Houston played, Jamal actually stuck around after the game to help pick up trash in the arena. Unfortunately, arenas are just like a pigsty after games. Like everyone just throws their stuff everywhere. I'm guilty of it too. Like I guess this is just like the habit, but it's just kind of nasty. And then like Jamal literally stuck around and cleaned up garbage. Like this guy's like, I don't know. He's just a quality human being. And again, this guy's only in year 2. Like it's crazy. 10 assists, 0 turnovers in year 2. Unbelievable stuff, man. Such maturity. Like so many people are gonna be benefiting from Jamal on the team. Like Jamal already needs to be a lifetime Raptor. Like it doesn't matter to me, man. He's got to be that for me already. So, okay, let's get to your questions, and I appreciate you guys now for sending them in. I'm going to take a couple of them here. First one looks like the guys are going to Vegas. Just keep Alex from getting banned again. Yeah, it'll be fun, man. It'll be really, really fun. Our editor actually, before the season was like, hey, the NBA Cup, would you want to maybe go to Vegas? And we're like, I don't know if we'll make it to Vegas, but sure, like, we'll see. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, you know what? There's a real chance, you know what I mean? Like, basically one win, I think they're in, right? So, and again, it's a good time for this Raptors team that I think has not really gotten much exposure. I think in the last week or so, because again, the Raptors are on this win streak, you're seeing like, outlets like The Ringer talk about them, and, obviously Zach Lowe has always been a Toronto guy, and he's always spoken glowingly about the team. But I think even he had the Raptors in like the 11th or something in power, like watchability rankings or something like that. Like whatever. Like I don't want to take that. Like who cares? Like I care more about what Zach's thoughts are on the team rather than just like one small like, oh my god, he's a hater. He hates this because he put up 12th. Like it's so stupid. We're taking it out of context. But like nobody was like that effusive in their praise, especially in the national media. And yeah, seeing like people slowly just come to the realization that this is a good team, and that's okay for people to like wake up to that fact. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a good thing. I think that for more than anything else, you just want people to be fair. And I think if you're looking at the Raptors fairly, like this is a team with a really nice style of play, who are young, who are coming together, they're gelling. Their coach is doing a fantastic job. Shouts to Josh Lewenberg, who has now kicked off the official Darko Rajakovic for Coach of the Year campaign, which, that will be what a zero to hero moment for him if that were to happen, which he's currently on pace to do. And I think more than anything else, it's like a new story is going to emerge. Like this year going into the Eastern Conference, you knew like no Tatum, no Halliburton, Milwaukee's a mess. Giannis may want to leave and whatever. The Cavs, underperforming, in the playoffs year after year, they just don't really feel like a real threat. The Knicks, Are they going to be okay? They changed just the head coach, but realistically, are they going to be able to make a jump? What I mean? Like, there's like an opportunity to be snatched. Then, like, a lot of people are really high on Atlanta, which turns out Atlanta is actually pretty good, just not without Trae Young. Orlando, people thought they would make a jump with the Desmond Bane trade. They started slow, but they're coming on stronger now too. But there's an opportunity in the Eastern Conference, and obviously Detroit and Toronto are the two teams that are seizing it. And Detroit, we already knew was going to be good. They won 44 last year. This year looks like they're going to be on pace for 50 plus, and they're playing super hard. Take nothing away from the Pistons, but man, the Raptors are that surprise team, man. They are the surprise team, and I think we're seeing just the value of, like, okay, maybe the concerns were the Raptors were expensive because they haven't fit together, although they're not that expensive. The way people talk about the Raptors being expensive, you think they would be like the Suns or the Cavs or something. No, they're not. They're like middle of the pack in terms of salaries, okay? Like just slightly above middle. Second of all, they're like, well, like this group doesn't fit. I'm like, we haven't even seen this group play together yet. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't really seen like that much of Scottie, Jakob, Emmanuel Quickly, and RJ Barrett, the existing four starters from last season, play together. Last year, they were all banged up at different points. So they didn't really play much together, and then they were tanking for the other half of it. So they didn't really get a chance to play together. And then you haven't seen them with Brandon Ingram, who's the first guy on the Raptors who truly, genuinely draws a double team all the time. And just think about what that does for the offense in terms of, the ball movement of scoring around it, the one-on-one scoring aspect of it, where it shows up most is crunch time. How nice has it been to watch crunch time and the Raptors are getting double teams and playing out of double teams. Like, I would rather have someone give a double team and pass out of it in crunch time than even a superstar who can make contested shots over a double team. Like, that's what leads to winning basketball over and over again repeatedly. And that's what the Raptors are doing. Like, can we just see them play together? And of course, we've had good health, and hopefully that remains the case. And Raptors, they'll tell you every single man, from Darko to the players, they'll always say it's just about the next game. It's just about the next game. It's almost like they refuse to look at the big picture because they don't want to get excited. But we can see it, man. And I know inside they could see it too. There's a confidence brewing here. There's a real team brewing here. There's a young team making the next step forward. And that's always such a fun place to be. So, yeah, man, shouts to this whole group, man. It's been really, really fun to watch them. I like this too. From Good Game 391, RJ doesn't have set plays. He just gets to opponents that averages 20. That's extremely difficult and hard to replace. Yeah, I do think that that's like really something that's overlooked a little bit. I know there's a lot of like, and sometimes I think about it too. That's like for fit wise, on paper, okay, maybe if we take RJ out and we replace him with a 3-and-D guy, kind of what the Knicks did basically. If we took RJ, replace him with OG Anunoby, let's say, like how good would this team be? And yes and no. Like obviously the defense, that could be better, and the Raptors kind of don't have like a perimeter stopper on the in the front starting lineup. They kind of have to have Scottie sort of do a lot of legwork there, or even extend quickly a little bit. Honestly, Quickly's been up to neutral, I would feel like, defensively. And RJ's trying harder, but also like I don't know, like we're so fixated on like this like perfect ideal of like what a lineup should look like on paper. I think the reality of the situation is like there's something really valuable about like, especially even the regular season wise, where like not every game guys are going to score all the time. But we've seen games where RJ wasn't going, other guys picked it up. IQ wasn't going, other guys picked it up. Scottie wasn't going, other guys picked it up. Brandon wasn't going. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you just need on any given night like 2 of these 4 to go, maybe against a good team 3 of these 4 to go, and don't forget Jakob could be a factor too. Don't forget like Mamu could be a factor off the bench. Grady if he gets hot. You know what I mean? Like, that's a real luxury to have, you know what I mean? And yeah, and like they really didn't run a lot of plays for RJ today. He was like, I'm sure Darko's not like, hey man, let's run a RJ Barrett post up on CJ McCollum, but RJ just finds his way to get buckets, transition, cutting. He's the most effective player right now on points per cut. And I gotta say, a lot of those must be and ones cutting off of Brandon Ingram, drawing a double team, and RJ seeing the back of his player, like the numbers on the back. And that's a great sign to cut because your defender's got his head turned and then going in for and ones. Like, he's been great, man. Like, I don't know. Like, we're always trying to tinker with this team, and this team isn't perfect. But, like, I actually just really want to see this team roll. And right now they're rolling. You know what I mean? Like, this is really, really fun stuff. So, yeah. It's chemistry over talent. Yeah. I mean, yo, you know what? That's what the Jays were saying until they lost Game 7 to the LA Dodgers. Sorry to traumatize everyone all over again. Sorry, ripping off the wound again. So, will I still be friends with Bobby after he trades RJ? Nah, man, I'll just be here saying Bobby was right to trade RJ, man. What do you mean? Nah, just kidding, man. No, come on. Me and Bobby aren't friends like that. Like, relax, man. Like, you come on. You know what I mean? I'm no Andrew. I'm definitely no Andrew. Definitely no Andrew Schultz. So, just kidding. Just kidding. Mamu bailed out for Eurobasket 2. Got that big Euro big mindset. Pass, space to floor, crash the glass, etc. You know, it's actually funny. I usually really like watching Eurobasket, and this year I actually watched a bit of it too. I mean, Turkey had a really nice run. Germany obviously had a nice run. You know, like Eurobasket's fun. Like I generally like watching that tournament, and the Raptors have always had like European players playing in it. I remember like one of my first like ever when I first started trying to blog about the Raptors. I messaged Raptors Republic, which was being run by Blake Murphy and Sarar Siddiqui at that time, and Sam Halako. Shouts to the OGs, and Nils. Shouts to Nils too. But I remember like this is like 2013 in the summertime. I was like begging them like, please, can I write for the site? And I'll just write about how specifically Jonas Valanciunas is doing at Eurobasket 2013. And I remember that was the start of my third year in university. I was like really unsure what I wanted to do with my life. Honestly, kind of miserable, to be honest. And I just wanted something that was like a positive outlet for myself and that I felt productive doing, but also I really enjoyed doing. And that was basketball for me. And so I would like literally watch like whatever, like obviously illegal streams. Like there was no courtside 1873 or whatever, you know, at this time. So like you'd literally go on like a streaming website, which obviously will sometimes cut out. You can't fast forward. You know what I mean? Like it's a streaming website, right? So I'm watching that and I'm watching like Lithuania versus like freaking Spain or Lithuania versus like, I don't know, Serbia in the middle of the day, which obviously those are great matchups. Shouts to Spain and Serbia, also great basketball teams. But like I'm watching like that Lithuanian team with like Mindaugas Kuzminskas was really young for that team. I think Linus Kleza might have still been playing a little bit. Domantas Motiejunas was playing in that one, not Simonas Motiejunas. He was actually pretty nice. Lefty for the Houston Rockets. A little bit like Mamu in a way too, actually, but played bigger, played more in size. He was 6'11". You know, they had really struggled with their point guards. And I literally just remember watching like all these like illegal streams and then writing like probably an 800-word takeaway on like how JV did. And yeah, again, it was just a way to pass time and make myself a little happier even in a way because I was really low at that time. But like it really, I built this attachment, and I think I've watched like every single Eurobasket ever since 2013, 2015, and the Raptors have always had guys in it, whether it was JV, whether it was Marc Gasol, which after the Raptors won the championship, Spain then went on to win the championship again that summer. Marc Gasol was huge in that tournament, leading a very undermanned Spain team that you didn't expect to be, like that was like, you didn't have Pau Gasol, you didn't have Rudy Fernandez, you didn't have, Calderon, Rubio, Garbajosa, like you didn't have any of these guys, you know, Juan Carlos Navarro. You had like a lot of secondary guys, you know, the Hernan Gomez brothers. This is before Juancho was a Raptor. You know, was watching that, or even Dennis Schroeder, watching him that was World Cup, but I watched him in the World Cup, watched him in the, you know, Eurobasket. And then this year I was watching Eurobasket only to watch Mamu, really. And I'm watching Georgia, and I'm like, you know what? Georgia has an interesting team. So obviously they only have 3 guys in an NBA relevant context. They have the 2 Georgians who are in the NBA right now are Goga Batadze, who plays for the Orlando Magic, who, you know, we brought up a couple of times as maybe we trade from Goga, whatever, right? Like, you know, depth at center. They got Goga Batadze at center. And then I was like, okay, maybe Mamu plays like the 4 for them. But the more I watched it, I'm like, Mamu not really playing the 4. He's playing the 3. Because who was playing the 4 was former Washington Wizards draft pick Toko Shengelia, who, you know, is like older now. He's probably like 35. He's got to be at least like mid-30s. But he plays real physical. He plays really inside. And so Mamu's kind of playing the 3. Did a lot of ball handling. Did a lot of outside shooting. And I'm just watching this. I'm like, this guy's really skilled. Like, he's playing out of position. Like, how many bigs can play... How many players who play 5 but has the skill set of a 3? Like that's difficult. And I'm not saying like he's like, you know, he's not Brandon Ingram as a 3. You know what I mean? Like just getting to the bucket and one-on-one and all that shit. But like Like that was like, yo, like this is a really skilled player here. And I was just really excited to see how he would do in a Raptors context. So Georgia actually did decently in the tournament. They obviously didn't make it as far as the quarterfinal, or I think they made maybe quarters, but didn't make semis or whatever. But they were a decent watch, honestly. Basically, it was just Goga, Mamu, and Toko Shengelia, which you don't usually see your big three being literally the biggest three players. But anyway, yeah, this is a long way of saying watch your basket, and also watch. Watch not just for the Raptors, but sometimes it's like really nice watching a different type of basketball as well. What else? Hold on. Someone has put Glorilla will be rubbing that ankle for BI. We Gucci. You know what, Glow? I hope you are, Glow. Shouts to Glorilla. I think she was at the game again. She's got to be at least half the Raptors games by now. I also want to see Brandon Ingram's usage rate when Glow's in attendance versus Brandon Ingram's usage rate when he's not in attendance. I just really want to know. But yeah, Brandon did have that little bit frustrating moment as I described earlier. Hopefully he's okay. I'm pretty sure somebody would have asked him about it after the game, so maybe I'll just check Twitter right now and see if any of the Raptors reporters who are not doing a React pod right now from home were able to sort of get a question in for that. I have no idea. No, I don't see anything. Never mind. Okay, so I guess maybe no one has specifically asked, but I'm sure somebody will ask at some point. By the way, the Raptors have been doing this thing where they take a squad photo after every win. It seems like the last 3 wins they've been doing these squad photos. So obligatory squad photo for the squad. Here we go from today's win. Bang. Once again, Grady Dick doing the little flexing pose. He keeps doing that. Someone should ask Grady about that if they interview him soon. But yeah, happy for the group around Mamu there. And by the way, this is missing a couple players, man. The two ways aren't here right now. Mobile's not here right now. CMB's been out with injury. I guess he's right there behind Grady. I hope CMB is able to get back in, man. Low-key, I'm a little concerned because not concerned for the injury itself, but I think for CMB, like he's had like 3 things knock him out of the lineup now, injury-wise, in the first month of his season. Like, hopefully he's just able to get in a consistent stretch there. But yeah, Scottie cheesing. Of course, Scottie's cheesing, man. So that's what he does, man. Shaq Grady flexing again, showing those triceps. Yeah, we see them, Grady. We see them. Although low-key, he's getting outmogged by Garrett Temple on the other side, because I don't think Garrett Temple's flexing. He's just got that old man strength. You know what I mean? Like, it's still a mismatch from left to right. But yeah, no, this team is great vibes, man. Great vibes. And Jamal somehow always ends up in the middle of it, as he always does. A couple more questions here. Man, I'm excited to play this PlayStation, man. Yo, let us know. Let me know what PS5 games are good. I got Ghost of Yote with it. I'll get 2K. I have the code for COD. Call of Duty 7, courtesy actually of Emmanuel Quickly and his team. So that's actually a big impetus for me getting the PS5. Was Quicks was like, "Hey, do you want to play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, all right, I'll take a code." So yeah, I'll come back in the chat later and I'll find these. I appreciate you guys. What else we got here? Can we keep Mamu? We gotta lock him in for multiple seasons. Hey man, I think they'll find a way to get it done. I trust Bob. I don't think it'll be a scenario where he's gonna get like $15 million a year just based off of this year. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think, like, yes, he proved it on this team, but I think it'll be closer to like 8 or 10 in that range rather than that. But you still need to do some real massaging because again, just because of the 4 big contracts on the Raptors between Scottie, Brand, actually 5, the whole starting 5 basically. Like Scottie's making 42 on the max. Brandon's making just under the max at 40. Jakob, I think he's still at 20 next year, which is nice because they've really kept that number low. But IQ's at a flat 32. RJ's at a 27. You got a first round pick coming in as well. Figure that out. You know, whatever you do with Ochai, like it's actually kind of difficult, really, to squeeze in a raise for Mamu. But I trust the front office, man. They'll figure something out. They'll figure something out. I'm sure they have some sort of. I'm sure they have lots of different scenarios. Like I don't know. As fans, fretting about the cap might be maybe the least fun part about fandom is like flexing about the cap. So, oh, Kosa Yote's one of the best games I've ever played. Sick. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Work first though. Work first. Work first. Work first. Work first. What else? Oh, I like this one actually. Someone's Ryan Alexander put in watching the Raptors for the first time in 6 years. Yes, I love hearing this. And I know for like a lot of our listeners are like diehard fans are like, where were you during like the Javon Freeman Liberty era? Where were you? You didn't watch Mohamedou Gay, and you weren't in here watching. You weren't with us when we were watching Marquise Noel at Summer League. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, but reasonable people I think are like Ryan. Okay. When the team is good, they'll tap in. That's kind of like how I feel with the Jays. Like when the team is good, I'll tap in. Like I don't think people should fault people for that. That's a pretty rational decision when you really think about it. But I think this is a really good thing. Is actually when you start winning, the casual sports fan, the Toronto sports fan, when you start having this like battle every winter of like, okay, it's dark outside at like 5:00, 5:30 at the latest. It's dark outside. It's cold. Right? You're probably going to stay in a little bit more. Your budget's a little more tapped. And you're like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to just, kick back after work and chill a little bit. And like, what am I going to watch? Am I going to watch the lease? Am I going to watch like whatever else is out there? Maybe some NFL? Or is my local team good? And like, yo, the Raptors are back. You know what I mean? Again, like I'm telling you, this is the best start they've had since 2019-2020 season, which they finished that year as the top seed in the Eastern Conference. Like, Raptors are second in the East right now, and they're living up to the hype. Like, they're not dominating teams in the sense that, like, they have, like, Kobe and Shaq, right? They don't have that top-end talent like that, but they have the type of players who are worth watching, and they play together. And that, more than anything else, I think is winning them over. And, of course, the standings always help. Everyone loves to tap in and watch a win. To be honest, I did enjoy, obviously, beating Cleveland or even beating the Hornets more. I mean, the Hornets post-game recap, I came in screaming like a madman because I was so hype. Like this was like so routine that I'm just like, okay, whatever, ho hum. And it'll kind of be like this on Sunday as well when the Raptors play Brooklyn, also at home. Like, again, I expect them to take care of business, but just keep stacking wins because they will hit these difficult stretches where they go out west and they play these different teams, and there will be injuries throughout the season and guys will miss time, and maybe like guys will slow down, and you know what I mean? Like we're not going to be like this all the time. There's a real chance that for the rest of the season the Raptors don't hit a stretch as good as this one. But why think about that right now when we're in the midst of 10 out of 11 games? Like 10 wins out of 11. That's freaking beautiful, and it's drawing the casual fans back in, which I really really love too. So, yeah, real happy for the guys, man. Are the 2019 bandwagon fans real fans yet? You know what? That's a good question because I think people have this like bad. I guess like it's considered a negative to be a bandwagon fan. I wouldn't even call that a rational fan really more than anything else. But if fans join the team in 2019, which I'm sure there's lots of, I think you've gotten a good mix of. You've gone through your first rebuild, so congratulations. Obviously for day one Raptor fans, you're like, what are you talking about? Like we've been through like 5-6 rebuilds at least. Even for fans for me who like I came in around like 2000 and I started watching the Raptors 2004, 2005 that season. That was the year Vince Carter asked out. I remember going around walking to school and seeing like newspaper boxes, and every single day on the cover it was like Vince Carter on the ground holding his ankle and then basically calling him like Vince Carter and stuff. Then like turning on like the score or like TSN at that time, and I'm watching like the highlight packs, and all the interviews are just like Vince Carter being like, I don't want to dunk no more. You're like, oh, like, okay, great. I want to tap into this franchise. And watching like, that was like a Mike James season. That was like Jalen Rose, a little bit of Danielle Marshall, but like pretty terrible teams consistently. And getting the excitement of having that first young team that worked, that 47-game win season where Sam Mitchell was named Coach of the Year. The Raptors won the Atlantic Division for the first time. They raised a banner for that. Like that whole ceremony was beautiful. Chris Bosh, Garbajosa, who was kind of like the Mamu of that time. Bargnani, who as a rookie, at least we were pretty excited. Over time, we realized he was a fraud. TJ Ford, Jose Calderon, Mo Pete, Anthony Parker, Juan Dixon, the trade midseason. You know what I mean? Like Rashan Osterovich. Like I've been around for a lot of this stuff. And yeah, like you go through a couple more rebuilds. It's like that's just the nature of the team. Like you're always gonna sort of have ups and downs. I would say honestly, based on what's happened since 2019, so they won the title. Then the next year they were #1 seed, but they lost in a heartbreaking fashion in the bubble in the second round. Then the following year going to Tampa, that was traumatic on all fronts. Remember the start of that season, we got Aaron Baines, and then we got Pascal missing 2 spitting game winners. Then like we physically couldn't even see these guys. Then Kyle left. Norm got traded midway through the season. Shit was heartbreaking. Then the Raptors came back. It was a decent year. They won 48 games. It was a huge surprise, but they lost in the first round. And then you had the 500 season, which everything went to shit. Nick Nurse gets fired. Fred walks in free agency that year. They lose in the play-in. The following year is the rebuild. Pascal and OG traded. They win 25 games. Again, we're traded to Jonte Porter hoops, which were literally like the team was tanking, and Jonte was like, I want to tank even harder for my parlay. Watching like the most random assortment of players. Like it was like starting lineups were like Jordan Nwora, Grady Dick, like Gary Trent, Garrett Temple, and like Garrett Temple played center. There was a game where the Raptors played the Lakers and Garrett Temple had to play center against AD. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then last year, obviously 30 wins, but still lots more change. You bring in Brandon Ingram midway through the season, but everyone's injured. They never really get off to a good start at all. They never catch up. They're tanking. They're intentionally tanking. Masai walks or Masai gets let go. Like, you've been through some shit. I feel like if you are a bandwagon fan, you jumped in 2019. I feel like you're a real fan now. Like, welcome to the club. You know what I mean? Welcome to the club. So, yeah. Yeah, I remember Paul Pierce told us we don't have that it factor. You know what? Paul was right, man. Paul was absolutely right. In hindsight, maturity is realizing that Paul Pierce might have made a really good point about the Raptors not having it. Because the Raptors, whatever you want to say it is, and Masai obviously had the infamous quote where he said, we don't give a shit about it. I might give a shit about it now that having seen it, because it is like a Kawhi Leonard. It is even like a Brandon Ingram, let's say. But like, Raptors did not have it back then, and he was absolutely right about it. So it was we've been through some tough times, man. But yeah, this is real joy. This is real joy. Shouts to it. Mazar says, I've been a Raptor fan for over a decade. I've seen everything, the good, the great, the bad, the terrible, the heartbreaks, and tears of joy. And we're still here. You know what I mean? And that's why you gotta savor these moments, man. Like, that's why when people make it, all they think about is, that started from the bottom stuff. Because it's like, that's what makes you appreciate the lengths that you've actually gone to. You know what I mean? And yeah, like, I know some of these, I know we were legit sitting here being like, yo, like, what are we doing? And obviously right now the Raptors are 11-5. Like, I mean, we haven't made the playoffs. We made the NBA Cup quarterfinals. Congratulations. It's great. But like, we still have a long, long way to go. This season is like only a month old, but this has been one of the happiest months I've seen for the team. And I think it's long deserved. I think I'm really, really happy for the crew. I'm happy to see, for us, obviously with the show, for people coming in, and the live viewership is huge right now. We appreciate it. I mean, like all that's been great. We're hitting like 10K on the post-game YouTube videos, and we're like in the podcast side, like, how rare it is for, I say this all the time, how rare it is for Canadian podcasts to hit the top 10 in sports when how hockey starved this country is. And yes, we're in a lucky moment where the Raptors are winning all the time and the Leafs are, miserable, but like, still, man, it's hard. It's really freaking hard to be top 10 in sports shows, in Canada, and with a basketball show, and independent too, nonetheless. And yeah, all that. I'm just really, really grateful to all of you guys, man. So yeah, it's been fun to watch all this. I mean, it was also just a freaking win over the Wizards. So, I'm not gonna try to gas it up too much. Like, we expect them to win this, and they did it. So that's what you expect good teams to do. I want to wrap up here. I'm gonna get to the 3 stars and the Gerald Henderson Award for tonight's game. Okay, first star. Honestly, a lot of good options here, man. Let's see. RJ carried them for a lot of it. Scottie was the huge factor in the third quarter. Brandon was scoring and doing a lot throughout the game. Maybe those are just the 3 stars. Actually, what am I even saying? Okay, first star. I'll get the first out of Brandon. I really enjoyed watching Brandon tonight. Made a couple of highlights. I loved the commitment on defense, diving on the floor for a loose ball. Getting up at the rim and blocking a shot. getting to the foul line, just the super efficient scoring from him. Plus 25 was also the highest on the team, so maybe that's the tiebreaker. But 24 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block for Brandon in 30 minutes. The only thing is I wish he played one less minute so he wasn't in the game for that play where he got the guy sliding under the foot. Like, it was literally a 30-point game. Just take him out, you know what I mean? Like, let's be careful with Brandon. Hopefully he's okay, but seriously, now that I've seen Brandon Ingram, I don't want to see the Raptors without Brandon Ingram. You know what I mean? Second star, give that to RJ. I thought his impact was pretty big in this one. Unfortunately, goes 4 of 8 from the free throw line. I don't understand what it is about RJ. This man just has an uncontrollable urge to split 1 or 2 free throws every time he goes to the foul line. But 24 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 9 of 15 shooting. This includes, by the way, a buzzer beater that was like, I don't even know how he made it, but he had like back to the basket with like 2 seconds, at the 3-point line, and somehow like turned around and burped up a shot that went in. Obviously it was late, but it was only late fractionally, but still efficient. 9 of 15, 2 of 5 from 3, and just did a lot of great scoring throughout the course of the game. Did a lot of good cutting and just like playing physical at the basket. Again, the big key in this one was just take it strong inside, because even as well as the Raptors are shooting, the Wizards have no size at all without their center, and they're terrible. So you're getting free throws and you're getting layups, and that's what RJ does great, is get free throws and layups. Now he just got to make the free throws. And then your third star, I'm going to get to Scottie Barnes. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. Just came alive in that third quarter. My favorite thing now is watching teams try to zone against the Raptors, especially when Scottie's in the game, because he just outthinks the zone. Like, it's like, oh, word, you're going to do the thinking for me? Okay, I'm going to get to the middle of the floor, and then I'm going to shoot it. Or I'm going to screen for one of my shooters. Like, Raptors are so good against the zone. It's so funny, because I feel like zone used to be this, like, huge vaunted thing, especially when we had Nick, of like, oh, teams are going hot, we're going to zone them. Like, the whole 2019 thing was like, oh, we zoned up against the Warriors. Boxing 1 is a zone. But, like, when you really think about it, the Raptors, a lot of teams play ISO basketball, right? So, and they play a lot of pick and roll basketball, and that's kind of what they do. So the zone really works well against that, because you're sort of taking them out of the rhythm. You're not allowing people to drive basically against the zone. And yeah, like like that's kind of the primary function of the zone. Raptors are like, oh, you want to zone us? You want to zone us, a team that really wants to just pass it around. And we're constantly cutting and moving and getting to the open spots anyway. So instead of playing man-to-man defense and making it harder for us to get open, you want to physically just staple your man to like 5 positions on the floor so we know which gaps are there. Like, it's actually so easy. And this is one thing that Darko, in terms of his offense, I wouldn't even say it's a zone counter. His offense naturally is a zone counter. He doesn't even have to adjust. Like, teams try to zone against the Raptors, and Raptors just it's literally easier for us to do that against the zone. So, but yeah, like, Scottie countered in the zone. Scottie, I think, had, like, what do you have in the third quarter? I think this in the box score is updated now, so I can give you the actual number. Scottie Barnes in the third quarter had 14 points on 6 of 7 shooting. That broke the game wide open. Again, 48-point game a quarter for the Raptors. Just amazing stuff that we keep seeing here. Your Gerald Henderson Award, if there even is one. You know what? I'm gonna give it to the young rookie, who I haven't seen much of this season, but I'm happy that he got to play. I mean, obviously it was garbage time, but Will Riley, who's from Kitchener, Ontario, a friend of the program, Liban Osman, as he always does, covers Canadian basketball as good as anybody in this country, him and Oren Weisfeld. And Liban traveled with Will and his family to the NBA draft last year, similar to how he traveled with the family of Keyshawn George the previous year. So I guess this guy's a Wizards reporter now. No, he's not a Raptor reporter, but yeah, just like really covered Will. And I had the chance to sit with Levan and just watch Will warm up. And this kid's a shot maker, man. This guy has a really smooth form. I mean, he's still only 19 years old, and you can see it. He's scrawny. He's got all the, like teenage acne on him still. But like that man can shoot, and it's a wet shot. And I'm happy he got a couple baskets in today. I know he had friends and family in attendance. So I'm always happy for the Canadians when they come in. Yes, it's only 4 points, but those are memorable baskets. Like, his first basket in Canada was as a professional was over RJ Barrett. That's got to be pretty cool. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, otherwise they lost by 30. So whatever, it is what it is. So thanks everyone for listening. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, leave a like on the comment if you can, on the stream if you can. Tell your friends about the React Pod. You know what? Obviously, all diehard Raptor fans already know about this, but tell your casual sports fans. They're like, hey, Raptors are pretty good right now. Like, how do I get into them? How do I, understand, like, what the talking points around the team? How do I understand, like, what the culture is around the team? How do I know who's playing good and who's playing bad and what they might need to do? Tell them about the pod, man. Let them know about the pod. So, I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, otherwise, have a good weekend. Raptors are off Saturday, and they're back on Sunday evening when they take on the Brooklyn Nets, and that's where we'll be back on the Raptors Reaction Podcast. So I appreciate you guys. Enjoy your weekend, and yeah, no banter today. No banter. When it's just me, it's just either just Raptors or it's like really sentimental, feelings about the Raptors. So get on that PS5, brother. Yes, I will. See you guys.